Welcome to Fly Nubian Queen Network, the network for melanated people like you. I am your host, Mary Dean Esquire, here at thewallstreetlawyer.com. And today we are talking about the Rittenhouse trial and Ahmaud Arbery. I have a question for you. Is white fear always the best defense? Uh, Breaking news, we do know that the Rittenhouse trial, the verdict just came out. Let me see here. Let me go to it. uh, Image of Biden there. Biden says we have to abide by the law. The everything out. What does he say? Biden reacts to Rittenhouse verdict. The jury system works, and we have to abide by it. I want to know what you guys think about the jury system. Do you guys think about the jury system? Do you guys think the jury system works? So come on in here, drop a B1, hashtag B1. Because this is the home for intelligent Black people. If you are looking to grow your money, please check out flynubianbusiness.com, flynubianmoney.com. If you're looking to better manage your money, please check out flynubianmoney.com. You can always find me, Mary Dean Esquire, here online at thewallstreetlawyer.com. And I want to get into this because it's breaking news. The verdict just came out, and Kyle Rittenhouse has been found not guilty. And I don't know about you, but I am not surprised. I am really not surprised. I didn't follow the trial, but every time in my office when I would walk by and they had the television on out there in the community, part of our building, and I passed by the trial, and the judge just seemed like he was his friend. Everybody seemed like they really loved this little boy. And it was very interesting to me to see how they portrayed him as a little boy and a teenager. Every time you read an article about it, they call him a teenager. And I mean, while he was, technically, he's a grown man. He's 18 years old now. He's still a teenager. But when they are people of color, the blackest color that it is, black of the bitter, sweet of the juice. When people of color, men of color are found in the city, they demonize. I mean, our boys have actually been little young boys. So let's get into this. Let's see here. Come on in, drop your B1, hashtag B1, and shout out your city. Let me know where you're from, because I'm happy to be a part of this network of beautiful, intelligent Black people from all across the United States of America, even the world, even thanks to the internet. And so come in here and let me know where you're from. But let me get into this. As long as Black people have been in the United States, white fear has been deployed as a powerful and dangerous tool. Black people must learn how to navigate a world that not only encourages, but sanctions and valorizes that fear, no matter the cost. But as I've watched the trial of Ahmaud Arbery, actually, someone said we have to stop calling this trial the Ahmaud Arbery trial, because Ahmaud Arbery was not on trial. It is the McMichaels who were on trial, father and son. And Brian, you have to begin to ask yourself, are there any limits at all that exist for a white person with a gun who is afraid for his life? Now, I understand the rationale behind self-defense. If you are in fear of your life, you have a right to use equal or greater force to protect your life and liberty. But the question that we always ask, it's such a subjective thing, right? It's such a subjective bar. But is that fear reasonable? This is where I want you guys to chime in. I mean, yes, we understand why self-defense exists, because if someone is threatening your life and your liberty, you do have a right to defend yourself. But doesn't that fear have to be reasonable? And you have to ask yourself, is any and all fear, any time a white person is afraid, does that justify the killing of an unarmed Black man? In Rittenhouse, that's not the case. But in the Michael's trial, you have to ask yourself that question. Because this case could not be a clear example of what happens when every armed white guy has a cop complex and claims to be afraid of his life. So, okay, let's get back into this. Kyle Rittenhouse was facing murder charges in Kenosha, Wisconsin for fatally shooting two people and wounding another Black Lives Matter protest in August 2020. Pause. Let me chime in here and say when everything was going on and everything was hitting the fan, someone, Jewel Jordan, there's no way a black man could walk down the street with an automatic weapon and not have been killed. Good point. Good point. Good point, Jewel Jordan. And so that's the point. Let's see. Arbery was such a good man. Yeah, I guess if a white person is jogging, they are now robbers. I'm not sure about that one. Let's see. B1, Felicia Bug, Tacoma, Washington. Okay. So I just want to give y'all a shout out because I'm so happy that y'all are here with me tonight on this Friday night. I can't overlook that because it was all about you. We are here for you. I'm just happy to commune with my beautiful black people. So I want to shout you guys out and give your comments some shine and give you some shine and say welcome to our Fly Nubian Queen family. Let me get back into this. White fear is always the best defense. I wonder if you can use white fear as a defense if you're a black woman or a black man. I wonder. So let's see. Okay, so back to the Kyle Rittenhouse. I want to dive into Kyle Rittenhouse before I get into Arbery. So I'm jumping around a bit. Kyle Rittenhouse was facing murder charges in Kenosha, Wisconsin, for fatally shooting two people and wounding another Black Lives Matter protest in August 2020. The trial has not been without its controversy. Judge Bruce Schroeder has been criticized for being partial to the defense. He was. Every time I walked by the TV and saw the trial on, I could tell. You would think that was his grandson being defending himself right before him. So he's been criticized. This judge Bruce Schroeder has been criticized for being partial to the defense. The prosecution struggled to make their case, and Rittenhouse sobbed on the witness stand. And white tears go along, not just white women tears, because I think white men maybe, but a white teenager, there's with that baby white face, yeah, I think his tears have gotten some weight too. So during closing arguments, Rittenhouse lawyer Mark Richards went so far as to compare the defendant to a Rustin Shesky, the officer who shot Jacob Blake 7 times in the back, which is the event that sparked the unrest in Kenosha. Very interesting. His comparison is as chilling as it is revealing of our current moment. There's not much difference between a cop with a gun and a white guy with a gun. Wow. So it is looking like the same, protections that the police have and the same arguments that the cops have for claiming self-defense. It is looking like that same level of protection is being passed over to your everyday white wannabe cop man with a gun. So this is interesting, who fears for his life when he shouldn't even have a gun. He should not be walking around with an automatic weapon to begin with. But take a breath. Okay. Other people in this community have shot somebody 7 times and it's been found to be okay. My client did it 4 times. This was said during the closing arguments. White vigilantism is so ingrained in our culture that people like the McMichaels, father and son, and Brian are seemingly deputized out of the womb. And Rittenhouse, we cannot leave Rittenhouse out of that. I mean, we're talking about 2 investigations here. The McMichaels and what happened to our dear, beautiful black brother Ahmaud Arbery, and then Rittenhouse, what he did to a string of white people. Nobody was black that he killed, to my understanding. I looked at the pictures and the names, and there were 3 white people, but they were Black Lives protesters. And which brings me back to my next point. One of the things that we were urging during, I've been a protester. I protested on every single coast in the United States of America, taught my sign, and which were quite different from coast to coast, I must say. New York to California to Texas, all extremely different. But it is something about the civil unrest that we've had since the death of our brother George Floyd that has made me stay away from protesting, because so many things feel staged and like they're not even our movements and our protests, and wonder, you don't want to get sucked into being somewhere that you're getting off and off um, because you are on the other side. And so staying away from those things and figuring out other ways to serve the community and serve my community and serve my people and fight the good old justice fight is one of the reasons why I'm very happy to be a Fly Nubian Queen here with you tonight. Okay. So back again, let me repeat this because this is very interesting to me. White vigilantism is so ingrained in our culture that people like the McMichaels, father and son, and Bryant and Rittenhouse are seemingly deputized out of the womb and feel free to take matters into their own hands. These three white men have spent their entire lives, and Rittenhouse, believing in their own superiority, a conviction that allows them to believe that they can behave as if they were judge, jury, and executioner, even if the only crime they are addressing is some innocent runner who made the mistake of being black in the wrong place. Naturally, the racist dynamics that led to the killing of Arbery were present in the trial as well. And which also were present in this trial with Rittenhouse. The judge was very happy to be on this trial, and I guess that's not an uncommon thing. Judges are very excited when they get big controversial cases and they have their 15 minutes of fame. We have you, but it's just something that the way that the judge was very buddy with Rittenhouse just really didn't sit well with my spirit. Um, so let's see. Oh, Yvette Gary. Yvette Gary says the world will never be fair. And look, I am an optimist. I always say that. I always preface everything that I say and everything that I talk about, even though I may be bringing you some news that don't sit well with your spirit, don't sit well with my spirit, don't seem like they are advancing our cause. I have to remind you of the movie Avatar. I know everybody has seen Avatar, about the beautiful blue people who were indigenous to the land, who made a living off the land, who were in tune with the land, who did not want to have the uh, uh, Caucasian people, because that's what they were, for the similarities are is life imitating art or art imitating life. I don't know, but I digress. But the beautiful blue people who were in tune with the land and were protecting and fighting for the land, the other people who were more sophisticated than they were, who were outgunned, they outgunned the blue people in Avatar. They outsmarted the blue people in Avatar. They had more technology than the blue people in Avatar. But the people in Avatar, the native people who were indigenous to the land, they prevailed. The Iwa came and fought with them and came to their great defense. The animals came in and started helping them to everybody was on code to protect this land. And while the odds looked like they were stacked against them, they even had somebody on their side who ended up converting to their side, to Avatar, and really kind of led them to that victory. So I don't want any of you to get discouraged. This world will never be fair as a bold-faced, pickle-faced, bull-faced lie. The world is very fair, and I take you back to The Secret and the law of attraction, because black people, you say, what tell me about the people who are so powerful and so mighty that they have to go through great lengths to get every weapon they have that they can form against you just in order to prosper. So to say that the world would never be fair, the world is the fairest place that I know, because I know the tide is turning. Every religion and every spiritual culture always talked about the end time and how the last will be first and the first will be last. And so for my mind, we are all waking up into who we are. The Mother Earth is growing, moving towards the sun, and as she rises towards the sun, the people who hair grow towards the sun are rising in power. I know I might be talking over some of y'all head, but I have to give you all of these stuff because I want you to understand that it's just a matter of time. And as we are even to just the fact that we are even here to be able to be a part of this be one nation with one another, we are all witness to our growing unity, our growing in power, in Black power. And I just hope to empower you and not disempower you or let any of these things that I tell you take away your power, because even within that, you create your own reality. You create the reality that exists for you. You have the ability to shape your world by the thoughts that you think. So if you think that the world is becoming a better place than it is, and I need you all to think that, believe that, and know that from your core, because good always win, right? Soul, power, God, the good will always win. Always, always. Right and justice will always prevail. And so I'm an optimist. And to me, the understanding that and knowing that in my spirit is what allows me to stay calm with so much turbulence. Not allow my emotions to get the best of me, because it happens. It happens to the best of us. So let me get back into this. Naturally, the racist dynamics that led to the killing of Arbery were present in the trial as well. Just like in Rittenhouse, of the 12 jurors who would decide the defendant's fate, 11 are white and only one is Black. In 1986, the United States Supreme Court ruled in Batson v. Kentucky that prosecutors could not strike jurors based on race. However, the ruling has been open to rather flexible interpretations, and it doesn't take much to get around it. The judge acknowledged the racial bias at play, but also permitted the trial to move forward. Okay, I just can't. I just can't. So I have the picture up where it says Joe Biden. Joe Biden says, reacts to the Rittenhouse verdict. The jury system works and we have to abide by it. Now, I just hope Sleepy Joe has the same sentiment about the court who upheld and paused. The court upholds pause on vaccine mandate for large companies. Okay, a U.S. appeals court on last Friday, upheld its decision to put on hold an order by President Joe Biden for companies with 100 workers or more to require COVID-19 vaccines, rejecting a challenge by his administration. A 3-member panel of the 5th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in New Orleans affirmed its rulings. Despite the Biden administration's position that halting implementation of the vaccine mandate could lead to dozens or even hundreds of deaths, the mandate is staggeringly overbroad, the opinion said. The mandate is a one-size-fits-all sledgehammer that makes hardly any attempt to account for differences in workplaces and workers, Circuit Court Judge Kurt Engelhardt wrote for the panel. Vaccine mandates are deeply controversial. Supporters say they are a must to put an end to the nearly 2-year coronavirus pandemic, while opponents argue they violate the Constitution, and curb individual liberty. So I just hope Joe Biden has these same sentiments that he has about the jurors deliberating fairly, and while he didn't watch the trial, he has faith in our judicial system. I hope he maintains that same level of faith in our judicial system when they strike down his unconstitutional vaccine mandates. Okay, so if you are looking to grow your business, please check out flynubianbusiness.com. If you are looking to better manage your money, please check out flynubianmoney.com. You will always find me, Mary Dean Esquire, here online at thewallstreetlawyer.com. And so let's get this. Jessica Tolino, I apologize if I'm butchering your name. He should have talked to the police first. They would have told him to go home. You are absolutely right. Why was he allowed to play toy cop? We have security guards for that. We have a whole other section of business of people who are not cops who get the ability to have the power of cops, private sector cops, if you will. So this was not even a security guard. This is not a person who has gone through any formal security guard training or police officer training. Why does he have the power and the ability to just take it in his hands and do the policing, in an area? That is beyond me. He was a civilian and he was out of line. As a matter of fact, everyone who was there protesting were people who were protesting without weapons, I might add, protesting with their words, with their verbiage, with their presence, but not with any type of violent, deadly weapons, I might add. Okay, so let's get back to this. Let's see. Not that one. Not Biden reacting to the verdict. Let's talk about Rittenhouse's strong self-defense case. Prosecutors said that Rittenhouse had put himself in danger through a series of reckless choices. He came to Kenosha during a period of violent and destructive riots. He armed himself with an AR-15 style rifle. He stayed there past curfew. And after being separated from his group, they emphasized that he was the only person there to shoot someone. But the law of self-defense in Wisconsin allows someone to use deadly force if they reasonably believe they are in imminent danger of death or great bodily harm. It's very subjective. If that person reasonably believes they're in imminent danger of death or great bodily harm, the law should be changed. It should not be whether that person reasonably, it should be two-pronged. Whether that person reasonably believed that they were in imminent danger of death or greater bodily harm, or whether a reasonable person would believe that they were in imminent danger of death or great bodily harm. We have to have, we have that in civil litigation. We have that in tort. We have that in lawsuits, the reasonable person standard. But that should definitely be taken into account when you're using a self-defense defense. It should be whether or not a reasonable person would believe that they are in imminent danger. And how can you believe that you are in imminent danger? You might be in imminent danger of getting your butt kicked, but he was the only person there with a deadly weapon. So, but the law of self-defense, okay. And if so, he's allowed to use, so because he thinks that has a reasonable belief that he is in imminent danger of death or great bodily harm, he's allowed to use essentially as much force as he thinks is reasonably necessary to stop the threat. Why not hit them with the gun? Why not hit them? Because that's still using it as a weapon. Why is it so easy it's such a coward move to be able to sit behind a gun and just pull the trigger? It takes no amount of strength, no amount of manhood to do such a coward thing. And that's, I guess that's why certain people rose to power with the rise of the gun. Rosenbaum, the first person Rittenhouse shot, had acted belligerently through the night, according to video evidence and witness testimony. Later, he chased Rittenhouse through a used car lot. So Rittenhouse, okay, we went on a foot chase. Rittenhouse and another witness both testified that Rosenbaum had reached for Rittenhouse's gun. Rittenhouse shot 4 times within a second, killing him. According to Rittenhouse, Mr. Rosenbaum was chasing me. I pointed my gun at him, and that did not deter him. He could have ran away instead of trying to take my gun from me, but he kept chasing me. It didn't stop him, Rittenhouse testified last week. Afterward, Rittenhouse ran away toward a police line, he said during the trial. While he was running, several people started to chase him, including Huber and Grosskreutz. Huber struck Rittenhouse with a skateboard. Evidence showed, and Grosskreutz, I am really butchering his name, was armed with a Glock pistol. Prosecutors said the two men had believed Rittenhouse was an active shooter and were trying to disarm him, but Rittenhouse testified that he feared for his life. Let me run that back. I don't know. Did you catch that? Let me run that back. Let me say that one more time because that's important. That's important. Okay. If you are looking to grow your money, please check out flynubianmoney.com. If you're looking to better manage your business, please check out flynubianbusiness.com. You can always find me, Mary Dean Esquire, online at thewallstreetlawyer.com. Okay. The prosecution said that the two men who had believed Rittenhouse was an active shooter. So they didn't believe Rittenhouse was an active shooter. Rittenhouse wasn't an active shooter. Okay. So the prosecutor said the two men believed Rittenhouse was an active shooter, which means Rittenhouse was an active shooter. He had a gun in his hand and he shot and killed 3 people, which is what he was on trial for. So the two men who believed Rittenhouse was an active shooter were trying to disarm him. So they weren't even, the fact that he feared his life, but Rittenhouse testified that he feared for his life. So let's get this straight. There were two men who saw Rittenhouse with a gun, who saw Rittenhouse shooting his gun, because he was, right? And they sought to disarm him. But Rittenhouse testified that he feared for his life. So that means that any Caucasian male with a gun, no one else in the vicinity has a gun. Any Caucasian male with a gun can just say that he feared for his life and he can shoot unarmed people. That is scary. They have set a very poor precedent with this case. And I fear for anybody. I fear for all Black men in the state of Wisconsin, to be honest. The defense had a very disciplined message throughout the trial, said Stephen Wright, a law professor at the University of Wisconsin. They consistently emphasized Rittenhouse's stated intentions that night, acting as a medic. This is what the killer said. Now, they call him a teenager, but let's call him what he is, a killer, a murderer. They consistently emphasize the murderer's intentions. So he said that he was there to act as a medic and to protect private property and the threats to his safety. Now, why is it, even if you are there to protect private property with a gun, it's not your private property. Property can be replaced. Most business owners do have insurance. So why do you need to protect private property with a gun? You were there to shoot people. We're not stupid. We know the real deal. You were there to shoot and kill, mission accomplished, and you got off for it. I don't want to say that. I'm just glad that they weren't people of color, but it's a sad day when anybody loses their life. But I'm just glad we weren't there. Okay. Let me go on. Are the ones shot. Because we have suffered enough. We've been shot enough. We have died enough. And enough is enough. The message that of what, white fear, when the white fear was present, it even came alive for them when that baby-faced Rittenhouse got on the stand. The teenager, they like to refer to him as. If he's a Black man, they just be calling him a murderer. Okay, all in the news, all in the media. We're not stupid. And he would have definitely been convicted. But I digress. Just last time I was live on Fly Nubian Queen, I was going live about Black men that were arrested for the murder of Malcolm X. The wrong people that they knew. They know what they're doing. They took those men's life and let them take the fall for it. So our justice system is flawed. Our justice system has always been flawed. And it's getting better. I'm an optimist. I hate when I go down that road because that's not the road I try to go down. I like to talk about how we are improving and what we are building towards, which makes me want to give a shout out to Judge Deidre Davis, a black judge, one of the black female judges in Houston, Texas, who I've been here campaigning for her re-election because black judges matter. If you want to donate to her campaign, I should have put her link. Elect Judge Deidre Davis, making law and order, equal justice under the law. If you want to donate, you can donate on her page, DeidreDavisForJudge.com, because black judges matter. And in a situation like this, you think about, I just think about how much black judges matter and how much black judges matter, because this is I'm afraid of the precedent that was set in this trial. I'm afraid to know that any white man with a gun who just says that he's afraid for his life can get off in the United States of America for killing unarmed people. That's not the precedent that you want to set. If you're not a police officer, you should not be running around acting like one. We have cops, we have local cops, we have FBI, we have the cops, from the little police officers at the lower level all the way up to the whole freaking army, for crying out loud. There are means to protect and uphold the justices of the land, the law of the land. And that is not something that should be taken into people's hands. And if you want to play cop, then you should go get your badge. I don't think the standards is that high. They're letting everybody be a cop these days, but I digress. Let's see. Dwight Boudreaux says, I'm only saying, why was Trayvon Martin not given the same right to stand his ground? Why was George Zimmerman not found guilty of murder when he was the aggressor with a firearm? Yes, and that baby only had a toy gun. I don't even think he had a gun. Even after being advised by a police dispatcher that they didn't need him to follow this kid and to stop. And what will be the outcome of the Ahmaud Arbery trial? Will justice be served? Kyle Rittenhouse is 100% innocent of murder, but the only possible charge, underage with firearm. Okay, I can't read no more without showing. Okay, but Dwight Boudreaux has a wonderful has a very interesting comment. And if you are on Facebook, if you're watching this, if you're streaming this through Facebook, you can see the whole comment and comment on it and talk to Mr. Boudreaux, because it sounds like he's got a whole lot to say. Let's see. I feel like I'm being trolled in the comments. Someone else. Okay, we want to read that one. Yeah, I don't know. Let me get back into this. Is white fear always the best defense? I'm gonna say that yes, white fear is always the best defense. And I want to tell you, my beautiful black people, that when you are, if you are ever in a situation like this and you have to evoke self-defense, then I want you to pull out those white women tears, or those white teenage little boy tears. They count. They're just the Rittenhouse trial has proven that those are just as valuable as white women tears. The little boy teenage tears, they work too. So yeah, the white fear is a very powerful self-defense, and obviously it's only available if you are white. Believe it or not, as a lawyer, I have to take my continuing legal education to keep my bar license active. And I remember, which is continual legal education. I have to take so many hours for the state of Texas and the state of New York, both states that I'm licensed in. And I remember watching a CLE one time, record a CLE, a DVD, and one of the professors really said that the best witness you want to have on the stand. Now, he said this in my CLE. The best witness that you want to have on stand is a sweet-faced white woman. A sweet-faced white woman, a whole sweet-faced white woman. That if you got a sweet-faced white woman on the stand, then you're gonna win. You are going to win your case. You're gonna get whatever that sweet-faced white woman want. And that's exactly how he said it. He said a sweet-faced white woman. So if you were ever in a jam, if you were ever in a bind, then I suggest that you morph into a sweet-faced white woman so you can afford yourself some of those same privileges. Okay, a sweet-faced white woman. That is very interesting. And I mean, and this was my CLE, getting my hours, taking my notes. Oh, I just need to get a sweet-faced white woman as a client. Then I'll win all the time. Got it. Got it. But very interesting. All of these things that go into the subjectiveness of justice in America. If you're looking to grow your money, please check out flynubianmoney.com. If you are looking to manage your business, please check out flynubianbusiness.com. You can always find me, Mary Dean Esquire, here online at thewallstreetlawyer.com. And let's see. Jewel Jordan says it's just sickening. Far from surprised. Oh, I know. Arbery case is sad. Those people need to be put on execution. Speaking of Arbery case, let me get into some of the details of what's going on with that one, with the McMichaels. It's the McMichaels case. So on Wednesday, prosecutors accused the defense attorneys of disproportionately striking qualified Black people from the jury and basing some of those strikes solely on race, which would be unconstitutional. Judge Timothy Walmsley agreed that racial bias was at play in the jury selection. This court has found that there appears to be intentional discrimination, he said. But, and here's the kicker, he said, the case could proceed anyway. I wonder if that's going to be grounds for a mistrial. He argued there were constitutional reasons for striking so many Black jurors. Wow. So the court found that there appears to be intentional discrimination, but the case is proceeding anyway. He argued that there were constitutional reasons for striking so many jurors. The hits keep coming. Last week, the Reverend Al Sharpton, the Black pastor who is also a political commentator and activist, y'all know who he is, he was in the courtroom. Kevin Gold, the defense attorney, tried to get Sharpton thrown out of the courtroom, arguing that his mere presence intimidated the jury. Wow. The defense attorney in the trial in the killing of Ahmaud Arbery is objecting to Al Sharpton's presence in the courtroom, claiming it is intimidating the jury. We don't want any more Black pastors here, he says. What?
Over 100.
I'm gonna have to play this for y'all. This is just absurd. Okay, we're gonna have to play this. Let me do this. We're gonna have to do this. We're gonna have to do this because I gotta share this with y'all. This is absurd. Let me see, which one am I in? Okay, bear with me. This Mary Dean coming to you live on flynubianqueen.com, the network for melanated people like you. And let's see. Yep, here we go. Share my screen. I want to play this for you.
And over 100. And the idea that we're going to be serially bringing these people in to sit with the victim's family one after another, obviously there's only so many pastors they can have. And if their pastor's Al Sharpton right now, that's fine. But then that's it. We don't want any more Black pastors coming in here, or other Jesse Jackson, whoever was in here earlier this week, sitting with the victim's family, trying to influence a jury in this case. And I'm not saying the state is even aware that Mr. Sharpton was in the courtroom. I certainly wasn't aware of it till last night. But I think the court can understand my concern about bringing people in who really don't have any ties to this case other than political interests.
But there you have it. He said he didn't want any more Black pastors in the courtroom. Very interesting. That in and of itself sounds very very biased, right? Trials, litigation, court cases, these are all public matters of public concern. And if there's any type of influence or influencing the jury, to me, it might be influencing the jury to do the right thing, wouldn't you think? I mean, it's not like anyone is there saying don't do the right thing. It's that we want to make sure that this jury, um, that you that we're a person that the world is watching. The world is watching and the world is participating. The Black community is watching and the Black community is participating. He's one of us. We care. We care about Ahmaud Arbery. He is our brother. We care. And so if there's any type of influence, it's from my mind, a pastor, it's not like he's a pastor, for crying out loud. He's a man of the cloth, a man of God. So if there's any type of influence going on, I think the influence is to do the right thing. That's the point I'm making. The influence is to do the right thing. Okay, Marie Copeland. It's not the jury system that doesn't work. It's the entire justice system. Don't work. It's not fair to us as Blacks. It is. I'm an optimist, y'all, and this optimism, keeping this optimistic face, is testing me. But you have enough Black leaders out there who are going to tell you that the sky is falling. That's not my position. I'm going to tell you that that your hair grows towards the sky, your soul leaps towards the sky. So that means it's for us to participate. The system is designed to work fairly, and it works better the more of us that participate. So I am not going to be the one here to champion the self-defeat. I can't do it, because I know that if I get on the champion, if I speak power into that, then I'm taking the power away from you and from Black power. And that's not what I'm about here with you on B1. You got enough leaders out there that are going to go, world is coming to an end, the sky is falling, and we're doomed, we're doomed, we're doomed. I don't believe that. I believe that we are rising in power. And I want you, even in situations like this, to look in the mirror and see how far your bloodline and we have overcome. How far that's the Sankofa, to look back, to go forward, to look forward. And so you look at the resiliency of the bloodline that you come from. Your bloodline, your people, your ancestors, we all have overcome every disaster meant to shake us as a nation, as a people. Every race riot, every movement, every president, every alphabet agency that has tried to kill our movement. But what did Fred Hampton say? You can jail a revolutionary, but you cannot jail a revolution. So we are rising in power. Don't let the smooth taste fool you. Don't let the Kyle Rittenhouse verdict fool you. Don't let the death of our beautiful brother Ahmaud Arbery fool you. There is so much positivity and beautiful light and love and things that are rising within the Black community. Show us I'm a Fly Nubian Queen here on Fly Nubian Queen Network. The network for melanated people like you. I can't help but speak power, because you're not going to get that from me. You're going to get that from other folks, but you're not going to get that from me. I'm going to speak love and light to you, even in the middle of darkness, because I want to empower you to be able to do that for yourself. That's what I teach you at blackwallstreet.com. The course is coming soon, but the book is already here. So if you haven't got your copy, it's available on Amazon at blackwallstreet.com. I give a free gift with the book. The way to get that is in the book. The link was down for a while, but the link is back up. So if you purchased a book from me and supported me in the past, I want to say thank you and let you know that the links are working. It's we're building it. We're building this a slow burn, but I'd rather build it slow to build it forever than to build it overnight and have it crumble in a second. Mary Dean Esquire here at thewallstreetlawyer.com. And it's been a pleasure to be with you tonight. I hope that you all have a wonderful, amazing weekend until we meet again. Love, 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 and hashtag Rising Black Power. I'm out.